Saturday Night Live. So let's see who comes on to have a chat with us. Let's have a look. Let's get this on the big screen so I know what's going on. Uh, so how is everyone this evening? It's been a bit of a funny day today. We had thunderstorms, we had heavy rain, and then it turned out to be a really nice day actually. So the rest of the family's outside at the moment. They're in the garden. They're having a little bit of a fire, um, and we're gonna cook a few burgers after this live stream. I think it's the England match tonight as well. So I don't know how many people are gonna come in to join us, especially with England playing. Um, it's going to be a bit of a strange live stream if not many people come in. But let's see who's going to come in to join us. Let's get this up on the big screen and then I can fire away. So we've got Phase PlayStation 5. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Oh, we've got 10 people in the house. That's more like it. We're getting into a few more people coming in. That's nice. So let's see who else has popped in. Jean Halliwell, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. No football there. So Ali D, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Brian, peace to you as well. Glad, I really appreciate you coming in this evening. Sham, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. So a lot of you have missed the football to come and join me, and I appreciate that. I didn't want to. I know it's clashing with the football, and I'm missing the game as well. And I didn't want to. After last week, I didn't want to miss this week as well. I mean, last week we had. It's not been a really good week for us actually. I mean, last Friday, my mum had a mini stroke. So while one of the scariest things that one of the scariest things I've ever seen. I mean, luckily I was awake, so it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, something like that, and I just heard my mum coughing, so I came running upstairs, and I found my mum really in a really bad state. So I called an ambulance. The ambulance came out, checked her over, but the ambulance took about half an hour to get here, and mini strokes they don't last long. By the time they got here, she was back to she'd settled down, um, and so they didn't take her in. I mean, they're trying not to take people in unless it's absolutely desperate. But since then, I mean, the day after or the day after that, a couple of days later, she's back to normal. I mean, I'm struggling to slow her down. I'm struggling to keep up with her. But she's back to she is back to normal. I mean, she does look a bit tired. She does look a bit weak, but she's just trying to keep everything as normal as possible, and I'm trying to slow her down a little bit. So it's a bit of a funny one at the moment. Um, Ashley's allotment diary. Ashley, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Um, Somebody else. Hope you're keeping well. Dewalds, thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. There's 19 people. If you haven't hit the like for me, please hit that like. It does help with the algorithm. And before I move on, I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreons. I've had a couple of new patrons this week, so 3 new patrons this week, and I really appreciate you for coming on and supporting me that way. It's it really does mean a lot, and I'm very grateful for you to support me that way, because to come out and support someone financially and try and help them build a channel like that, it does really mean a lot. I mean, YouTube doesn't pay masses, so to work on a channel like this and try and build a channel like this, it does get quite difficult. But for those of you that are coming on and supporting me like that, I really do appreciate you. And here's my Patreon link as well. So if anyone does want to check out some of the stuff that I'm doing on there, I mean, I'm filming something. I was just actually filming something for the guys on Patreon just before I came in. Nitin, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So we've got UKH, hope you're keeping well. Grow your own kitchen garden. Russ, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. How's everyone? Is everyone missing out on the football to come and join me? So we've got 20 people. We're probably half of where we're normally at. So quite a lot of people are missing tonight. Um, be yourself. Be looking. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you about that post. So I made a little post on Facebook and some other social media about. I'll be honest. I am feeling a little bit of pressure around uh, around social media, and there's a lot of people expect a lot from me, and sometimes it feels like I'm being pulled in different directions. Um, there's one incident that's just sort of niggling at the back of my mind, and it's just not leaving me alone. When I've done a lot of work on dig it out. I've done a lot of work on the different ways of a garden and working with different people. And when I don't know if anyone remembers when Prince Philip died. So there was one guy who was posting loads of stuff. Was trying to turn my family garden group into a Prince Philip discussion group. Uh, what's going on with you? Come on, buddy, calm down. What are you doing?
Fire!
Fire! You guys having a nice fire outside?
Yeah.
So that these guys are having a nice fire outside. Are you gonna cook some burgers on it?
Fire!
Um, yeah. Well, and you got a fire trap T-shirt on as well, so that's funny. So the kids get a bit wild when they're having a fire outside. So they're gonna have a fire. We'll cook a few burgers on the fire and maybe roast a few potatoes on there as well.
No.
I think so.
I
I like roast potatoes. I like roast potatoes. I
potatoes.
don't know about you. Um, so I read your status earlier. You can't please everyone. Just be yourself. Actually, I mean that's a lot of what I've been trying to do. Do you know? Just be who I am. Um,
Oh,
but
lamb chops. That's a good idea. Why is that? Did someone just
I'm not
say
sure.
leave?
Yasin Muhammad, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Leave.
I think he's telling
Or
me to
leave
leave.
Dad alone. No, he's fine. He's fine. Simplified gardening. Tony, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in.
Axolotl!
Sheepy's allotment. How are you doing? Thank you
Axolotl!
very much for coming in.
Axolotl!
KK. I'm not sure what. Okay. Tony, I'm not doing bad, mate. How are you doing?
Axolotl!
How are you feeling at the moment? How's everything? Because I looked around your plot. You've got so much going on at the moment, man.
Axolotl!
What about an axolotl?
Axolotls are cool animals from Mexico.
There you go. There's a fun fact for you. They're cool animals from Mexico.
They're known for their little smiles and the big fins starting from their head to their tail. Their little arms and legs.
Keep going.
Which help them climb and swim.
So they've got arms and legs that help them climb and swim.
No, not arms and legs. Legs.
What then?
They're very adorable when they're babies, but they're very transparent. You can see their organs.
I think they're really cool little animals, aren't they?
And they can regenerate lost limbs.
Critical powers.
I'm not done talking.
Hang on, I've got a new message.
They suck their prey like a vacuum cleaner, but they're critically endangered. And because of sucking their prey in and regenerating, that's how they were given their name, axolotl, which literally means water monster.
Water monster. So there you go, axolotls, aka water monsters. Yeah.
Yep.
Good one. So there's some fun facts about an axolotl. So let's see who else has come in.
Godzilla.
So James, how are you doing? Don't crop me now. Save me from the football. See, I'm missing out on the football coming in here.
Because
Chrissy
I don't like
Exploring
football.
Nature says hi. How is she doing? I hope she's well. Charlotte RK, how are you doing? What are you writing?
Hi.
Hi, okay. He's
Hi.
very well spoken. He's a good lad, aren't you? You're a good lad. MashaAllah.
Oof.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Oof.
Yeah, he's our little posh boy, aren't you?
What's a posh boy?
He's better spoken than I am, and he pronounces words properly as well.
No, not really.
Yes, you are.
Sometimes
Can
I
you?
switch letters around.
No, you're fine.
But not on
Yeah,
purpose. I do it by
you're
accident.
absolutely fine. Wanted to nip on and say hi and stuff, but gotta grab a shower. Been on the allotment all day. Russ, you take it easy, and I'll see you soon.
I'm gonna go downstairs and work on my
so-
animation.
Okay, you go and enjoy your fire. Can you turn that middle light on for me?
Okay.
Yusuf Narud, Yusuf, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa alaikum assalam. Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. That's the wrong light, mate. Good, she's on her live. She said sorry. Not a problem at all. Not a problem. I mean, YouTube's such a big place. It's never gonna, with so many creators, there's never gonna be everyone who's got who can work around other people, go live when it's suitable for you. So absolutely, yeah, no need to say sorry at all. I hope she's having a good chat and a good few people are coming in to say hello to her. Take it steady. UKH, you take care, and I'll see you soon. Not a problem at all. I hope she enjoys her live toner and gets a good few people coming in. Oops, sorry, let me turn that on silent. There we go, and then we won't get disturbed anymore. If anyone is watching the football, keep me updated on the score, and because I'd like to see what's going on. Yusuf, I'm not doing bad actually. I was just outside for well, I want I wanted to build a. I want to start working on the new chicken coop, but I'm missing a few pieces of wood, and because I haven't got a car at the moment, I can't get down to the builder's yard and pick up stuff as I need it. So I'm struggling at the moment. I hope you've all managed to get some gardening done today. It has been chucking it down with rain all day here. I had to go to the plot last night after work to do the weeding. See what happened with those. It was so what happened with those. We started off. It was pouring down with rain in the morning. So we went about 2 o'clock. It took a break. We went outside. We were out there for about half an hour, and within half an hour, it started raining again. But by about 4 o'clock, it's all settled down, and it's been quite a nice day after that. So I've been building a little. I've been building a little coop type chicken run thing for the baby chicks to be able to play around in the garden because they're too big. They're not big enough to put in with the big chickens, and if I put them in with the big chickens, I know they're just going to peck them to death. So I've been building that. Can't help I don't do football. So Sheepy's allotment 1-0, 1-0. Are you joking? Oh, you're joking. Oh, that's a shame. So how the little chicks, Brian, they're doing really well. So I was just filming an update actually. So I just literally filmed an update before when I was coming in. No, winning 1-0. Okay, so it's the other way around. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Who scored? Yeah. Someone tell me who scored as well. Sam, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Sham, thank you very much for coming in. Bobby, I hope you're keeping well. 1-0 England. Harry Kane scored. Nice one. That's all right. Ashley, don't worry. It's on in our house. The boys have made sure of that. I'm here to get myself a glass of wine. Right, you're welcome. You're welcome to come on here and spend some time with me. Something alternate to the football, but that's all right. It's going to be a nervous rest of the game, then, isn't it? Because we'll never know how long England can hold a clean sheet. Lungi Gardner, Yusuf Lungi Gardner's in actually. He was Nitin was in earlier. He might still be in. Um, hope your mum is. Alhamdulillah, she's doing a lot better. She's doing a lot better. Um, Within 2 days of her having that little mini stroke, she's back to normal. She's back to she's trying to do too much, and I need to actually get her to calm down and take it easy a little bit because it just is too much for her, and there's no getting her to relax. Sky, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Twitter post been a bit cryptic lately. Tony, do you know what? I'm getting a bit frustrated, man. There's a couple of incidents that are just playing over and over on my mind actually. Um, well, like I was saying, I started getting into it a bit ago, but do you know when Prince Philip died? There was someone who was quite close to me actually, someone that I'd sort of taken under my wing, and I was promoting him and doing quite a lot of work. Well, trying to get his message out in the world as well. And when Prince Philip died, he wanted to bombard my family garden group with posts about Prince Philip and racism and stuff like that and blah blah blah. And because I said no, he just completely went off on one. And then he's like, "Oh, you're doing this dig it out campaign. You're a hypocrite, and you're this, and you're that." And because he'd already put a few posts on, I got it from the other side. From the royalists who were actually saying, "Oh, how can you allow all this sort of stuff when Prince Philip's died and So I'm getting it from both sides, right? And sometimes it just really pulls you apart, and it ends up, these two, a couple of people from both sides just sort of just completely flipped out on me, turned on me. Um, I've ended, and basically I've been cancelled by both sides, and all I said was, this is not the place for the discussion. Do you know what I mean? The group's not the place for the discussion, but because I was saying no to one side and I was too slow for the other side to get rid of the comments, that's it. I'm the worst guy in the world. And that incident's actually just played over and over again on my mind. And there's been a few more similar things like that have just happened over and over again. But I'm just trying to do the best I can do. I try to do the best I can do on my YouTube channel. I try to do the best that I can do as a dad, as a normal person. But it does play on you, and it does sort of, you get pulled in all sorts of these directions, and you get it all. And I know it's easy to say, right, don't pander to these people and don't pander to these people, but it does affect you, man. It really does. Um, Charlotte, thank you very much for coming in. I'd like to say thanks for your tips on starting plant seeds inside. Uh, Oh, Charlotte, that's fantastic. Do you know when I hear you've benefited from the channel? Uh, that does it for me. That really makes it all worthwhile. Ashley's allotment. I had a stroke 6 years ago, and my allotment has helped me tremendously. I bet just getting outside and getting that fresh air really makes a difference and helps you out. Um, That's good to hear that. Sheepy's allotment, have we got a Facebook page? We've got a group on Facebook. It's not a massive group. It's just got just over 1,000 people. But if anyone can grab the link of the Facebook group, that'd be good. So if you just grab the link and post it in, if anyone wants to come over there and join us, it is a nice group. It is a nice group to be in. It's really hard to please everyone. It gets worse the bigger you get, mate. Garden blogs are not for that. All I can say is don't lose sleep. Tony, that's the thing, it does affect you, man. And I am the type of person, right? I'll worry about little things. Do you know, little, do you know, I can probably get over something there and then, but 6 months later, that's when it'll hit me. Do you know, because I'm so busy at that moment, I'm not probably not thinking about it. But 6 months later, it'll come back and hit me, and then you'll start just playing over it over and over and again. So it does get to me, and I'll be honest about that. It does get to me, and today was one of the, I've been meaning to write that post for a while, and today was just one of those things that I don't know. I just did it. Um, so Can anyone give me a score update on the score? Has it changed or anything like that? Um, let's see. So, Ashley, I think connecting with the nature really makes a huge impact on mental and physical well-being. I hope you're okay. Um, Henrik, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Jacqueline, thanks very much for joining us. Hope you're keeping well. Um, you concentrate on the mash. I'd like your advice. Simply, I planted some seeds a while ago. Lost the label. Are you able to identify them if I send you a picture? Sam, we've got a group on Facebook, so if you want to post a picture on there, it's called. Tony's just posted the link to it. So if anyone wants to come in and join that group, you can post your pictures on there, and there's plenty of people who help out there. Um, um, don't crop me now. I don't actually know your name, and I keep saying if you don't want to share it, that's fine. But if you do, I don't know your name. Um, to to let it go and move on, it's hard, and the keyboard warriors. And there's no comeback. Yeah, exactly. What I learned is that these people are only there for themselves and not you. And you've got. See, Tony, what you're saying is absolutely right. I mean, there's a. Do you know?
You have veins on your ear.
I've got veins in my ear. There you go. I've got veins in my ear, guys. Um, Jacqueline, I'm new to this channel, but what I find amazing knowledge and tips for the bit newbie gardener like me, and thank you for your hard work. Any tips on courgettes turning yellow? Is it the old leaves that are turning yellow or the new ones? Because if it's the old leaves, I wouldn't worry that much. But if it's the new ones, then give them a feed. Give them a feed with something, a balanced fertilizer
Let it
or
eat some
something
slugs.
with a little bit of with a little bit higher nitrogen, and that'll just give it that boost.
Will a Venus flytrap eat a slug?
I don't know. A few years back, I done something that which helped my mental well-being. I completely cut out the dead wood in my life. Negative and argument.
We're having a barbecue outside.
See, do you know
Can I
what?
show them?
We'll show them afterwards. Towards the end, I'll take everyone outside and we'll join them.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So they're having a fire, having a little bit of a campfire, and they're gonna cook some burgers, and I'm in here
Yay!
joining you guys. So it's all right. Henrik, she's doing much better. She's doing a much better. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Hunika and Nebul, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It's impossible to please everyone. Please don't worry. It's a gardening channel. I'm able to keep my garden tidy thanks to you. I'm glad it's helping. Exactly, it's a gardening channel. It's not a politics channel. It's not. It's not something that is supposed to be that controversial. But people seem that there's some people who seem to find that controversy and just want to discuss, fight over that. It's getting better, but some things are just linger, tiredness and weak limbs. Actually, did you get all your mobility back and everything from it? So I'm gonna ask a gardening question to everyone. Ask away, Yusuf. Absolutely, that's what we're here for.
Gardening questions.
Laura clicked on the link and left, but I'm back.
What do you mean when you press the link? What happens?
It takes you somewhere else. That's what happens. Keep going. Gardening is a great physical therapy. Real meaningful tasks. I'm a physio on it. So, you're a physio. Okay. So, you're rehabilitating people. I've been under physios for a long time, and they're always better than doctors.
Fire.
Thank you so much for your practical advice and growing. Toss, not a problem at all. I'm really glad that you like it. Like I said on Instagram.
Are you on Instagram?
Have you got a Barbie top?
No. I don't like Barbie.
No, Tony was saying something about Barbie. I was just wondering if you got a Barbie top. Metro Kid, thanks for everything. You're the future of gardening to me. Your kid is wicked.
I got a butterfly top.
Go on, read your name, go on. Yeah, the kids are absolutely quality. I love having them involved, even though it makes everything more hard work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was building this little coop outside, and for the chicks, and Zaki decides to jump in, and he decides to run off with my hammer, or decides to chase the chicks around the garden,
and then put them in their little house that isn't finished yet.
And he's trying to make the chicks fly, so he's getting the chicks and chucking them up in the air. So I'm trying to build this chicken coop and trying to control him at the same time. It was going absolutely nuts. Honestly,
trying
it
to
was,
grab
it was
him
going
to
absolutely
play.
mental.
Lava.
Okay,
Okay.
1 second. So I'm trying to like the video but can't do it for some reason.
Probably you already liked it.
Are you subscribed? So where am I? I've got all kinds of crop growing now in the desert. Henrik, what have you got growing? Because that's fantastic that you've. So Henrik is.
Fly traps do eat slugs.
So Henrik's turning the desert green.
Do they eat snails?
He's out in Egypt and he's turning dead land into something that's productive. I'm not a gardener, but I really appreciate your time. Oh, slug pellets are controversial. What I started now, I'm not sure what you said about slug pellets. Have you got an update picture? I was actually just filming one. I was just before I came on. I just filmed a little update on the chicks, and a little update on building a new little chicken coop thing for them. I've got loads of stuff on in the back of my shed which will need repotting. However, my allotment is still a few weeks from being ready. And my 2 vegetable patches at home are going to be turfed in the near future. So Yusuf, are you trying to get the whole allotment ready in one go? Because if you've got some things that are desperate to plant out, and you've got some areas of the allotment that can be ready, why not start planting there while you're working on the rest of it, and then work on a patch, get that ready, get that planted up, and then move on to the next patch, instead of trying to, hammer everything out in one go, if that's possible. Laura, hope you're keeping well. Who else is here? My mobility is limited. I use a mobility. Yeah, I've seen your mobility scooter. Was that all from the stroke? Too much stuff to repot. What can I do to prevent them from dying prior to repotting them? Keep them well watered. So keep them well watered. Make sure there's enough nutrients with the feed. Use things like compost tea to water them, and at least they'll be getting some nutrients, and then they'll be trying to grow in the space that they're in. But one risk that you're going to have is they will get pot bound, or they will get their root if they need pricking out and stuff like that. Their roots will start tangling up with the others. So my nagas are wilting, drooping. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I've got them in a Wilco greenhouse. First thing, check for aphids and check for pest damage. Aphids are probably the biggest cause of chilies drooping or getting crimply leaves or not looking too well. Check underneath the leaves properly. Make sure they're well watered. Make sure that then, if it's in a little plastic greenhouse, that then it's not in extremely full sun, because remember, they're an understory plant. They do like it hot, but they don't like the sun being directly on top of them. Make sure they're in big enough pots. If they're not in a decent sized pot, transfer it from the pot that they're in and move it to get it into a good enough pot. I mean, a naga, for me, I think the absolute minimum for a naga plant is 5 litres, but I'd want to see it in a 10-15 litre pot in the ground if possible. But yeah, minimum 5 litre pot. Make sure that there's soil in that. It's not just 100% compost. There's actually some soil in there as well. Something for the roots to really get hold of. Um, so so Henrik's got corn, tomatoes, bell peppers, chilies, watermelons, and he's growing all of this in the desert. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic when I hear stuff like that. Sleeping time for me in Cape Town, South Africa. Good night. You have a good night, and thanks for coming and joining us. You take care. Um, so all of that has affected Ashley from the stroke. Well, are you continuing to heal? Or do you finding as time's going by you're getting better, or is it not improving? Any insect that triggers hairs inside the leaves will be digested with five. Ah, okay. Oh, she's disappeared, so I'll feed that back to her and I'll tell her what you said. Um, I got aphids on my chilies quite a bit last year. We grew quite a lot, but I think that was due to pot size. This year, I've made an effort to put most of the chilies in 30-litre pots. Um, I like growing chilies. Yeah, I really like growing chilies. I've probably got about 10 or 15 varieties this year. I'm just trying to. I've probably got about 40 plants, close to 40 plants in the two greenhouses. Um, I grow the way I grow them is that I grow them quite close together. So I'll try and grow some plants tall and try and grow some plants short, and I'll plant them close together so they use the space. Um, and in my wooden greenhouse, there's an ant's nest, and the aphids are always worse in there because the ants are farming them. I mean, I get aphids in the other greenhouse, but it's not never as bad. Um, Outside, I hardly get any attacks or anything like that. It's quite lucky. I mean, there's green fly have been bad this year, but things like black fly, uh, no, hardly ever see them. Yeah. Um, Wood ash is fantastic for aphid control. So if you want to, in especially when you're indoors, because there's not so many pests and there's not the weather and all that to get rid of the aphids. If you can just sprinkle some wood ash, dust the leaves with wood ash. It's a fantastic pesticide. Um, so next question: can I grow potatoes in purely shredded wood chips? You can, but they will need some feed. They will need feed in there. Um, because the wood chips, depending on the type of wood chips, unless it's sort of really broken down, or it's a mixture of leaf matter and a mixture of grass, you will struggle because they will need some feed in there. So if you've got wood chips, then add some chicken manure, quite a lot of chicken manure to it actually. And you'll need to, whenever you water it, you'll need to water it with something like a manure feed, to get it to keep doing well. If you're growing in the ground, I mean, if you ever seen me grow potatoes in the ground, I grow just in wood chips. But the way I do it, I'll put the wood chips, the potato will grow on the soil and it'll get all the nutrients from the soil, and the wood chips just form the growing medium. So I don't have to worry about the wood chips not holding have enough feed in it. Um, so if you're growing in a container, it's not as good to grow in just purely wood chips. It works much better on the ground. Baltic Homesteaders, Gary, how are you doing? Popping in to say hi. Hope everyone is well. Been another hot day here. Came in from watering. So yeah, we've had a bit
Hot
of a
day. So it started raining, and then it was hot, and then it was rainy, then it was hot again.
So you don't need me here anymore. She's taken over. The kids are just going.
Weather forecast.
She's gonna do the weather forecast. The kids are just taking over. I'm not. I'm surplus to needs now. I watch a YouTube wood chip potato video. However, I can't remember if you're growing in purely wood chips. When I'm growing in the ground, I'm growing in purely wood chips. When I'm growing in containers, it's a mix of. It's layered with wood chips, compost, and then a mixture of rough compost, mainly wood chip based rough compost. Uh, Chris Muncher, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. This year I haven't had an aphid problem yet. See, we've had it bad this year. We've had it worse than normal. Uh, Spring used to start in March, not May, June. See, what's happened is that global warming. the seasons are definitely moving. I mean, climate change is definitely causing a problem. The seasons have moved from being yeah. I feel like the seasons have moved at least by about 3 weeks. Um, Noticed it last year and noticed it again this year. Do you grow long chilies? I'm growing. So Dean brought me a couple of plants. He brought me some spaghetti chilies and Joe's long. Um, I've sowed loads of them this year, and I only managed to get one plant to germinate. And because I'm useless with my labeling, I don't know what I've done with the plant. So yeah, Dean brought me a couple of spaghetti chilies and a couple of long chili, Joe's long. So we'll see how we get on with them. So I've got habaneros, a lot of, I've got a few different types of naga. So I've got a couple of Dorset nagas, a couple of Bangladeshi nagas, Naga Viper, Trinidad Moruga. What else? We've got some Aji lemons, lots of green chilies, Hungarian hot wax, a few sweet bananas. So quite chilled out ones. What else have we got? uh, Jalapenos. I can't remember all the other ones. Uh, I'll be able to tell once they start growing because I'm absolutely one of the worst thing about my gardening is I don't know labels. Uh, so if I can't tell the plant by the leaf, like I've got a Naga Viper and I've got a Dorset Naga, I know which one's which because because the leaves are slightly different. And they grow a little bit bigger. The Dorset Naga grows massive. Yeah, so that's how I'm telling my plants. So it's a lot of guesswork at the minute. But my labeling is absolutely yeah, pretty shameful. Shahida, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I live in Greater Manchester. I have two Bangla Hodu plants which are healthy but no flowers. Also, my tomatoes, Scotch bonnet peppers haven't flowered yet. Okay. So your Bangla Hodu flower, just give it time. It just needs age. Um, it will flower. Don't worry about it. Just give it time. Make sure it's got a good. Make sure all of them actually have got good containers. They're growing in plenty of soil. They've got plenty of soil around the roots, um, and just give them time. Scotch bonnets will start flowering. Depending on they normally start flowering around 4 months of age. 3 4 months of age. If they're getting to that age and they're they'll start to flower. Especially now it's warming up. So don't worry. I mean, my green chilies started flowering last month. My Hungarian hotback started flowering last month. My nagas, I'm just seeing the first sign of a flower coming onto them. So they're just starting to bud. So don't worry. I mean, I planted my chilies in January, so December, January time. So they're a good 6 months old. So don't worry. It, we're coming into July. It's gonna start now. I bet you in the next couple of days after this live stream, everything will start flowering. Don't worry, it is coming. The season's just coming for them to all flower. Um, I thought I'd have a go at growing a mango seed, and it's actually grown. Anything I can do to keep it going, or will it eventually die off due to the climate here? Sham, I've got mangoes. I've got jackfruit. So in the summer they're fine outside. They're subtropical plants, so they can tolerate a little bit of cold, but they won't tolerate a freeze, especially at the young age that we've got them. So what I do is, as soon as they comes to the start of winter, sorry, end of autumn, start of winter, they're all in the house and they're all just they're just plonked on a windowsill, and then in the springtime, early summer, they can go outside again. But apart from that, they have to stay inside. They're never going to fruit here. They're never going to grow. They're never going to grow massive. But just keep. I've got a jackfruit that's nearly 5 years old. It's about 2 feet high. But yeah, it's just a fun thing to do, isn't it? Do ants swarm in the wood chips you're planting? Karen, I've got a ants nest in my greenhouse. I put a video up on my Facebook group about the ants, and they actually it's really interesting because they start growing wings and they start swarming and they start turning into it's a flying. you get loads of flying ants and stuff. So yeah, that's that. They do swarm in my greenhouse, but not in the wood chips that I've got. Um, I'm growing one called Mountain Thunder Longhorn, which is a long chili. They're in. Okay, I've not heard of that one. How long are they supposed to get? Um, so, so my tomatoes have only started to flower very recently. See, I planted my tomatoes in February, and my tomatoes, I should hopefully get ripe tomatoes very soon. Most of my tomatoes have flowered, and I should hopefully start getting ripe tomatoes very soon. What I'm doing in the meantime is I'm taking off young suckers and I'm planting them. Um, I'm taking off suckers and I'm planting them. So as soon as I get a couple of trusses set on the other tomatoes, right, picked, I'm gonna get some more tomatoes up and ready, and hopefully that'll keep me growing tomatoes right the way up until about October time. Um, Last year we were picking ripe tomatoes right the way in probably into mid-November. So I'm gardening in the South Pacific, cold but very long twilight, as it's an advantage when growing outside of chilies. Okay. Um, there's some there are some people that I follow as different than others, which compete with with complete other ideas. If you try it, then it works perfectly. Um, who do you mean, and what do you mean? See, I looked at geoengineering. I'm not a big one for conspiracy theories. It's just not something that I get into. Yeah, it's just not something that really interests me. Um, I mean, Bill Gates funds vaccine and sun blocking. Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the conspiracy theories. I know he's a big one around GMO. What normally happens with these sorts of things is there's a little bit of truth and a massive amount of lies, and they're all mixed up, and you can't tell the truth from falsehood. So I just don't. I stay away from it. I mean, what's fact is Bill Gates is involved in GMO promotion of GMO, and companies like Monsanto that they're involved in that. So they're the ones that we refrain from. But the rest, things that are fact, fair enough. Anything else, I just stay away from it. It's not something that I waste my time with. Um, I copied the idea from Diogo Footer by composting in place, which means the place you want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I like Henrik. That's basically what I doing with my wood chips and a lot of my smaller compost piles. Sasha, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. My mango got purple spots on the leaves and spread to other plants. Um, See, that's what will happen, when, with plants that we're stressing. A lot of disease, a lot of plants that we're stressing out, they're the ones that end up with getting disease a lot easier. Um, So my famous sentence at this time of year, were a few hikes otherwise. See, Yusuf, I think the whole years, the whole seasons have moved. I really do think they've moved by at least about 3 weeks ish. Um, uh, with peppers, chilies, do you pick off the first fruit? Seen differing opinions on it. See, Gary, it depends on how many chili plants, what you're trying to do. Like, did you see the ripe chili that I put on the Facebook group? So I put a picture of a ripe chili up. Now that's one of my reject plants, and what I've done with some of my reject plants is I've just stuck them in small pots, so 1 litre pots, 2 litre pots, and I've said, right, if you give me one chili, then fine, that I'm happy with you. Otherwise, I was going to throw the plant away anyway, and it's all recycled, used compost. I'm not bothered about the plant, so I'm not picking anything off there. If I get a couple of chilies off them, great. If not, I'm not bothered about that plant. But if it was a plant that I was trying to grow and say, okay, this is my only plant, and I want it to give me maximum capacity, depending on when the plant actually set fruit, start to flower, If it's got to a couple of feet high and then it's starting to flower, then I wouldn't mess with picking the chilies, the flowers off. Now, if it's only 6 inches tall and it's starting to flower, like the picture that I put on the Facebook group, and that was the only plant I had, then I would pick the first few chili flowers off, because the minute the plant starts to flower and starts to produce fruit, the plant thinks that's it, I'm set now. I've produced my offspring for next year. But if you take those flowers off, it'll put some more energy into growing, and it'll get a bit bigger, and then it'll set fruit. So it does depend on what you want to achieve. So if you so summary, if it's your only plant and it's only a small plant, then pick off the first few fruit. If it's a big plant, don't worry about it. And if it's your reject plants, just let them do what they want to do. Um, Leghorn is similar to spaghetti but a little fatter. Ah, okay. So I mean, it's not one that I've heard of, but I'm gonna have a look at this one. So maybe next year, I'll have a go on that. Guys, if you don't know about the My Family Garden Chili Challenge 2021, so I did a video about it. So we're just it's not it's there's no money in it, there's no prize in it, it's just bragging rights. So who can grow, we've got a few categories. So who can grow the longest chili, who can grow the fattest chili, who can grow the biggest chili, in terms of weight, in terms of girth, and who can actually grow the tiniest ripe chili. So we're not going to accept any unripe chilies. It has to be red and it has to be tiny, and it has to be ripe and grown this season. We'll do the judging around September time. So we're doing that between my YouTube channel and between the Facebook group. So if you want to come and join us in there, you're more than welcome to. The more the merrier. Get involved. Get. It's a bit of fun. It's just bragging rights. There's no prizes. I have a few Bangla Kida plants growing in my conservatory ready to go out. The cucumbers need to be out now. They want to be in the ground. But if you've got a big bucket, stick it in a big bucket and just grow it in your conservatory. Just tell your wife you forgot to move it. I have a number of chili plants that are at least 40 centimeters already, no problem. The record is about 50 centimeters. Chilies that are already 40 centimeters already this season. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Um, See, I had one ripe chili that was probably about 6 inches. I've had a couple of Hungarian hot wax I've picked a few of those that are similar size, and I'm getting some good green chilies that are a couple of inches at the moment. But 40 centimeters, that's awesome. That's absolutely fantastic. Oh man, I want some pictures of them. Yeah, show some pictures of them. Um, I had a bit of success with my broad beans, mashallah. When it comes to crop rotation and something that would be successful, low maintenance, what should I try? Uh, See, Sasha, do you know with crop rotation, right? There's some sorts of crop rotation that I do, and it's all based around plants that are disease prone or plants that are going to prepare my garden for next year. So with things like runner beans and stuff like that, I've got set spaces that I'll probably grow runner beans in for 4 or 5 years in a row and not worry about it before I move it forward. Um, and With broad beans, the way I grow them is I'll just fit them in wherever, and then I'll move them around, and I'll move them around wherever in different places as I need to. With anything can follow, pretty much anything can follow broad beans to answer your question. Um, so don't worry about what you need. Don't worry about a specific plant that wants to follow them. Whatever will fit in the space after it. Remember to do one thing is just if you're going to take the plant out, cut it off at the base, leave the root inside the soil, and leave the root to rot inside, and that'll just break down and make the soil even better for next year. Um, Not taking them out yet, as I'm afraid they could die. Uh, when Yusuf, we're not going to get a bad freeze or anything like that. The worst that'll happen is we'll get some wind, and that could cause a bit of a problem. Um, The word on the street is the queen is a reptile. I'm pretty sure she might be. She might be. I think Maggie was as well, wasn't she? Uh, you need to send seeds out for that, or else a variety affects the outcome. Um, my aubergines have started to flower recently, but no signs of any. Is this normal? Um, Make sure hand pollinate them. Depending on where you've got them, if you've got them inside a greenhouse or something like that, just hand pollinate them. Just get a little toothbrush or some kind of brush or a cotton bud or something, and just tickle each flower. Just go around tickling flowers, and you'll see the fruit set soon after that. I had the plants under light since January, and the plants really good. Oh, do you know that, Rachel? That's absolutely that's fantastic. Absolutely, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, I live in a new build, and the soil is terrible. It's a combination of red clay, builder's rubble, and I have some serious drainage issues. So, builder's rubble and red clay. The good thing about that is it's going to be absolutely full of nutrients. Do you know? It's going to be absolutely fantastic for holding nutrients in there. The only thing now is you've just got to add organic matter and build structure and build fertility into that soil, and you'll bring life into that soil. Once you get the soil life into there, you'll be flying. So in winter, what I'd do in a situation like that is I'd stick loads and loads of radishes everywhere. I'd plant as many broad beans as you can. I'd plant, and the good thing about broad beans is you can either chop them down, and you can either yeah, you can chop them down, and because they produce a lot of foliage, leave that to rot in the ground. The roots will add, fix nitrogen. Yeah, the roots will fix nitrogen, and adding and things like radishes, they're gonna burrow down into the ground, um, and break the soil. And once it comes towards them, once they've established themselves, just cut them off just below the soil surface and leave the root in the soil to rot, and that'll just build fertility. I mean, radishes are fantastic for converting clay soil into diggable soil or usable soil. Um, so, what would be a good one to try? Something that might be a good low. Do you know? It's still not too late to get some courgettes in. So they'll fruit quite a bit later. So it's still not too late to get some squash in. If you can get some established young plants, some plug plants or something like that, get some squash or courgettes in there, and you'll get some nice summer fruit all the way towards the end of the year, or early end of the year, early autumn, mid autumn, that sort of time period. You'll and you don't have to worry about them. You just feed them, water them, they'll be fine. The long is longhorn or spaghetti. Heavy is poblano. Okay, so Tony, is that have you got? I've not got either of those. I've not got either a poblano or I've got spaghetti. That's the one that I've got, and I've got Joe's long. So we'll see what happens with them. Um, but I just did it for a bit of fun. I don't think I'll win. For me, it's all about trying to grow as many hot chilies as possible because my wife loves hot chilies. When it comes to hot chilies with me, I'm a bit of a wuss. Sort of. I don't mind the smell of naga, but I couldn't eat a naga. My head would be blowing off. But my wife, my mum, they'll just be munching on them like this sweets. It's crazy. um, so okay, yeah. So this year, I don't know if anyone saw my chili pickle recipes that I did last year. What I'm planning on doing this year is we're gonna.
Wait, it's raining really heavy and we can't have the barbecue now.
So the kids are. That's what I turned around for. I heard the rain coming down, so everyone's come running back inside because it started raining. Um, and that's the end of the barbecue. So I think I'll just have to cook some on the cooker for them. Cook some burgers on the cooker for them. But guys, has anyone got an update on the football score?
Who got the footballs? Who won today?
Go and have a look. Go and have a look. Go and get on.
Yeah, I think it's
It's either on BBC One or ITV. Go and have a look. I'll try to push the corn by planting the next crop in between the old stumps and leave the roots. See, still 1-0 England. Okay. It always gets nervous around 1-0 with England because they'll do something silly and let something in.
Wait, can I just show them something?
What are you doing?
Please, I'm just going to show them some. I just want to show them the fire.
No.
Please.
Just leave it here. Okay. My potatoes are looking good in the pots. I got when you put a link up a few months back. Tony, I wish I'd ordered another 10. See, those pots are absolutely fantastic. Tony's done a real service for everyone with introducing everyone to those pots. They're absolutely brilliant. Yeah, they really are. See, Tony, I want a pot like that. Same sort of height, same sort of build, same sort of handles, but I want it double the width. I want to do it for. I want to use them for something else. So I've had a look at those.
I'm excited for the new Among Us map called Submerged. There really is a new map coming.
So let me see. We seem to bottle it towards it. Yeah, Sham. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's always England whenever they're getting close to that finish line, they always cock up. I don't like them holding on to this clean 1-0 lead. I started sorting Naga seeds in tea. I read online aspirin helps it germinate. The thing about aspirin and plants, right? Okay, so there's a chemical inside aspirin that will help. There's a weak scientific link between aspirin and pest prevention. So what it does is it stimulates the plant to release some hormones that suggest that it's fighting an aphid attack or a pest attack, so it grows better. So that's the only thing about aspirin. It's not gonna help germinate. With those sorts of things, there's so much nonsense out there. People, that's the world of social media. They put on a lot of bull, for want of a better word.
What do you mean bull?
Not for your ears. Can you please? Okay. I planted more corn between the ones that are 4-inch, but some are kernelling outside the ears. See, underneath my corn, what I normally plant is low growing plants. So if my corn are growing to 5-6 foot tall, then underneath there I'm growing coriander, I'm growing spinach, I'm growing those kind of plants that are going to grow to maximum a foot tall, way below the leaves of anything else, and something that will appreciate that little microclimate, something that's going to appreciate a little bit of shade and a bit of cold. More like an oblong. No, not like an oblong tub, Tony. Something like a round tub like that, but just double the size, same height, same sort of build with the handles and everything, but just double the size. So they're 30, maybe a 60-litre pot, but I don't want it to get any taller than the one that we've got. Do you know those 30-litre ones? I'm growing radishes for the pods this year, and they're just starting now. Anyone got any tips? Give it plenty of support. I've got radish that I'm growing for that's left over from last year that I'm trying to save seeds from, and it's massive. It's probably hit about 5 foot tall, and it's got about 5 foot spread as well. So it's absolutely massive. So what I've done with it is I've stuck some bamboo canes around, and I've tied a couple of strings around. So I've made like a little cage for it and compacted it into an area of a couple of feet. Otherwise, it's just taking too much room. It's huge. Yeah, aspirin. See, aspirin's good for pest prevention and that sort of thing, and trying to encourage it that way. There's a weak scientific link for that, but apart from that, it's just yeah. Um, so uh, at least I know you tell the truth, and the thing is that's one of the things that I had that I like that I wouldn't do on the channel. I wouldn't come out and say something um, that I'm not doing myself. So if I'm doing something and it's making a difference, then I'm gonna say, right, this works. Or if I'm doing something and I'm testing it for the first time, then I'm gonna come and say, okay, this is what happens. Like there was, um, I've heard all these claims about aspirin. So I did an experiment last year on a couple of tomato plants. So I did one with aspirin, one with no aspirin, and there's no difference between them. They're exactly the same type of tomato plants. They're exactly the same variety. Everything the same, growing in the same place. Yeah, no difference. So you can hear these claims, and sometimes there's just like with the conspiracy theories that the guy was talking about before, is you'll see one little grain of truth and a massive amount of lies mixed into it. So just be careful. I'm very skeptical naturally myself. So yeah. Um, our Rehana from Pakistan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks very much for coming in. Can I grow a potato in the summer? The thing is, your summer is going to be a lot hotter than my summer. So probably your potato plants will struggle in your summer. They need they won't do as well in that much heat. So you'd want to be growing a little bit earlier, or a little bit later, and try and go. Yeah, but you shouldn't have any issues growing potatoes over there. Oh, Jacqueline, that's fantastic news. 2-0. Who scored the next goal? Rahman Raja, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, and he's joining us all the way from Kashmir, mashallah. Thanks very much for coming in. There's an Indian gardening channel called Gardening Tips where they promote aspirin use. I've seen that channel. I've seen that channel. I've seen a yeah. Um, so who scored? Someone tell me who scored. Khadi, who scored? Go and see who scored.
They're not letting me watch. They're doing their thing.
Who's doing their thing?
Zaki's watching his Dougie thing.
Tell Zaki you can't watch the Dougie thing. Tell him to put football on. So Zaki's turned into a bit of a TV monster. He's
Like me.
he's he's taken the controls. You know, he's taken the controls and he's just sort of hogging the controls. So we're having to fight him.
No, we're having to wrestle him.
Um,
Yes, we won.
it's a gardening channel, not a football channel. Tony's joining the trolls. Oh man. So Maguire, okay.
Ukraine versus England. England got 2 and Ukraine got 0.
So here we go, quarterfinals. Here we go. Right. Have you had your burgers yet?
No.
Okay. All right.
Raining.
I'm gonna come and I'll come and cut you some burgers on the frying
Right,
pan.
I'm just gonna see.
Any ideas for red currants? I have about 5 million of them. I hear jam or jelly is quite good. But do you know if they're ripe, right? If they're ripe, sun dry them. Do you know if you can get some can you close that door for me?
Yeah.
Can you close that door, Khadi?
Yeah.
You see, one of the things that one of the things that we do is we just get a couple of trays and just stick in them, fill fruit and stuff, and put them on the trays and leave them on top of the shed roof, and then they turn into you know, you sun dry them, and then throughout the winter you've got little dry red currants, and you just eat them as snacks. That's one of the things that we do with a lot of a lot of gooseberries, um, black currants, red currants, white currants, all of those sorts of things. We just sun dry loads of them, and then just have them later.
I
Keep
think
that door
there's a
closed.
thunderstorm.
Okay, okay.
Thunderstorm.
Quraysh Mac, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can I grow beans and courgettes now at the moment? Yes, you can.
What kind?
Yes, you can.
What type of beans? Runner beans.
So
What are the broad beans? Runner beans.
one of the ones that you'll definitely get a crop from are the dwarf French beans, runner beans. It's getting a little bit late on if you're gonna grow them from seed, but it's if you've got nothing else planted, I'd still give it a shot. Courgette, same sort of thing. If you can get some established plants, then that'd be a better one for you. If I left them on the shed, the birds would. Somebody else. Are you in Leeds? Oh wow. I'll do dua for your mum, inshallah. 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 MashaAllah. Jazakallah.
I think you can buy.
3-0. Right. Tayyib, once you scored. It was last week here, Henrik. It cooled down 39. Fire still raging though, and it's an entire town.
I stole the pistol.
Oh, you're joking. Harry Kane, good man. Good man. Oh, now it's time to relax. So I think it's good. That's not bad, is it? See, now what they're going to do, right? They're going to build everyone's hopes up, and they're going to get to the next round, and they're going to flop.
Yay! They saved me. They saved everyone.
I've never grown celeriac
Thank you,
before.
Spicy Can.
I've never grown it. So if anyone's got any tips on celeriac, that'd be good. If you need a lift with something, give me a shout on. Appreciate it. Thank you. I planted out and they were growing fine, and the pigeon ate them. What did you plant out? In nutmeg the keeper. Oh. So your dawat at mine, inshallah. I'm in Telford, Shropshire. You can give me some tips while you're here. Yeah, I don't get that far south very often. Let's see, inshallah. Telford's are miles away. But jazakallah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So celeriac needs loads of water. They won't have the dry weather. There you go. Right, guys. We're coming to an hour and 10 minutes. We're way past. So we're past the hour mark. So on that note, I'm going to call it a night here. Thanks everyone for coming out and joining us. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thanks very much, everyone. So I'll see you next week at the same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Yay!